Before we come to speak about the main subject of this retreat, which is realization of the emotional center and certain developments connected to that, I would like you to first surrender to your body. Letting go into your body. Even though your head is part of your body, and you also have to enter there, which is the very realization of emanation consciousness. Usually when I use the term surrender to your body, I am referring to the part of your body below your neck, your torso, the trunk of your body, your chest and your belly. You need to identify a clear switch. But suddenly you feel that you have fully entered your body. And naturally you experience being inside your body as pure subjectivity. In that being in the body, the distinction between entering your body from within and being one with your body is forgotten. Because what you begin to experience is a body within your physical body, which is the spiritual body, and the physical body is permeated by the spiritual body, so you feel natural unity between these two. Even though they are not exactly the same. You need to feel the weight of identity of your existence in the body. And as far as consciousness is concerned, it is being experienced extremely gently. more of a intrinsic recognition. And intrinsic in a specific way, because normally intrinsic recognition is subconscious. Here we have a conscious intrinsic recognition, because consciousness is supposed to become so much part of who you are that it cannot be merely recognized intrinsically. It's always self-recognizing. But here you don't feel that you are recognizing it. It is recognizing itself. And there is so much weight of identity in your body that you feel actually much more in the body, in your torso, than in your head. In fact, you should feel as if you do not have a head, as if you have forgotten your head. And it's not that consciousness is neglected here or becomes redundant. No, consciousness is very much there, but it is in your body. Your body is experienced as consciousness. It is true that the natural place for consciousness to experience itself is the head. It's where consciousness feels the most. At first, the most comfortable. But there's a point where consciousness stops evolving in the head. Well, all of you still have a long way to go, because one of the important aspects of the completion of that evolution is reaching complete surrender of consciousness. And my students have not really actualized that complete surrender. My students do experience surrender of consciousness, it's just not complete. But even then, consciousness surrenders and nothing really much can be done. Nothing much is happening in consciousness. Consciousness basically exhausts its limits in evolution in consciousness. But it does not stop evolving, it just needs to start evolving through the body. And from within the body, through the dimensions which are inside the body. Absolute, heart, and emotion. In the head, consciousness is just consciousness. In consciousness, in the heart, consciousness is consciousness and love. In solar plexus, consciousness and our emotional nature. And in the absolute, consciousness and the absolute. So consciousness is being enriched by these other dimensions. And of course, these other dimensions, they're being realized through consciousness, because without consciousness, they are inconsequential. Anyway, let go into your body. Feel that switch, that shift into your body. Like you get settled there, and there you are. You basically, your consciousness is experiencing itself in the body in the same way as it was, and still is, experiencing itself in the head. Without surrender into the body, consciousness can link itself to the body, but it cannot embody it. It is still in the head, and from the head it is relating to everything else. But it should be experienced in the body in the same way as it is experienced in the head. Here you are helping yourself as well with exhalation. You are not always supporting yourself with exhalation, but it's very helpful to do so intermittently. So exhalation helps you to surrender into your body. Because there's a natural movement into the body downwards. But also you have to surrender to exhalation. You need to surrender to your breathing, to your breath, to be one with your breath. If you are one with your breath, you will be one with exhalation. And this also prepares you for awakening to correct breathing, of which I will speak soon as well. You cannot breathe correctly unless you surrender to your breath, unless you are one with your breath. And you cannot breathe correctly unless you surrender to your body. letting go into the body is supported additionally by letting go into being or letting go into the absolute. It all becomes one movement. But the way we spoke of the absolute in the past was experiencing it outside of the body. So when you are letting go into the absolute, in some kind of a deeper being, you are bypassing your body, and here you are not. You experience that, or you are learning how to experience that depth of being in your body. Awakening happens in the body and in the body alone. There are states of awakening beyond the body, but they are not beneficial for human beings. They are not grounded, and they do not have evolutionary importance. And unfortunately, that's the case with the science of enlightenment. Everything is so ungrounded. Consciousness is not in the body, or even if it is in the body, is not recognized in the body. Being is usually absent. No one really speaks of the absolute in a way we do. And if it's experienced or spoken of rarely, it's not in the body either. We need to bring the light of enlightenment where it belongs, which is inside our individual form, which is the temple of self, where the light of the self is supposed to be lit so that the temple can be illuminated. Enlightenment has to be brought to reality. No longer it should be seen as an escape, running away, denial of our existence, or the denial of our individuality, or of our physical form. We need to come back to our senses, so to speak, and awaken to where awakening is supposed to happen. Awaken to reality of awakening in this very form, in this very body. As I already explained, there's a lot of negation of the physical body as having spiritual value. And the paradox here is that those who negate it are not in the body. They were never in the body. So it's not really sure. What is this fuss about? What is there to negate? And why should one go beyond the body if one has never been in the body in the first place? There's a lot of misconceptions here, a lot of confusion, ignorance, and just all distorted. As you let go into the body, doesn't it feel good to be? Because you should feel that movement of getting more and more settled in the body. Doesn't it feel good? Even your consciousness feels better, because it doesn't feel so good in the head. Especially if there's no complete vertical surrender of consciousness, it does not feel that good in the head. And that head is just too small. Head is the place of birth of consciousness, but it's like a baby is born in a small house, and as it begins to grow, it also begins to see that this house is too small, too little, wants to go out, wants to move out of it. Same with our head, it's too small for consciousness. So when it enters the body, it actually allows consciousness to transcend. Surrender to the body is done for many reasons, but transcendence of consciousness is one of them. So when you shift, you feel that shift, well, your head actually lets you go. You're no longer so stuck in that head. Your head releases you and you can enter your body. By you, I mean you as consciousness. And then you enter the body, you feel that relief. You can literally breathe and spiritually breathe and existentially breathe. Consciousness can breathe, because in the head consciousness cannot breathe. So when you have entered the body, let go into the body, you keep doing it. You keep doing it. And you are combining it by letting go from the body. So you are letting go into the body, which is that initial movement of entering the body. And then you are letting go from within the body. which is that second completing surrender. Well, what you are letting go is the absolute. There's nothing else to let go. But as you will see, that absolute itself is as well in the body, just in the lower portion of your body, in your lower belly. And all that surrendering should allow you to come closer and closer to the absolute state of non-resistance, which is beyond surrender. So during this retreat, remember, letting go into the body and from the body is the most important, and this is what you should mainly cultivate. Because everything else is manifesting out of it. For those who are still in between, have not really entered the body, are somehow confused about the whole idea, give it a chance. You will see. If you trust that surrender, if you trust your body, you will see that you will experience the level of transformation that you have never experienced. This is what I said to the students in the last retreat, that retreat, which was actually the first retreat, physical retreat, speaking of surrender to the body, was more meaningful and fruitful than your 20 last years of meditation. Basically, you're wasting time in these 20 years. Not entirely wasting, but you know my meaning. You could use these 20 years in a much more powerful way, much more potent way. That 20 years was not used economically. And The reason it wasn't is because surrender into the body was missing. Surrender to your body is your meditation pillow, is your meditation posture. It is your zazen, new zazen. And try to truly, truly understand it.